Welcome to This Week in Astrology. This is episode number 584 for June 16 through 30, 2021. The second half of June is loaded with significant events. We have Saturn Sextile Chiron, which is 2021's number 2 aspect. Mercury turns direct while Jupiter and Neptune turn retrograde. We have the summer solstice and a Capricorn full moon, plus lots of new aspect patterns. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm your host, Benjamin Bernstein, broadcasting from thisweekinastrology.com. I record these forecasts as an audio podcast and a video, so take your pick. The video version includes detailed chart graphics, which you can also see in my written forecasts at astroshaman.com. This Week in Astrology is honored to be one of the internet's top 10 astrology podcasts. Check out our website, thisweekinastrology.com, where you can hear the show and subscribe to podcast updates. And if you have not already, be sure to click the link in the show notes for 2 chances to win a free Astrology Plus session with me each month. What's old as we come into the second half of June, we have a waxing moon. Mercury is retrograde through June 22nd. Pluto retrograde through October 6th, Saturn retrograde through October 10th. Now let's get into our new stuff. On Wednesday, June 16th, Mars and Venus fire up the Saturn-Uranus square. The Saturn-Uranus square is the most important aspect of 2021, and we'll feel it most intensely when these 2 planets receive a hard aspect from Mars. This extra stimulation starts today on June 16th as Mars opposes Saturn and squares Uranus. This Mars-Saturn-Uranus T-square will peak on July 2nd and end on July 15th. But that's not all. Venus, conjunct Mars, joins the T-square on June 30th and stays until it ends. This adds more power to the Saturn-Uranus square. It also makes it more likely that challenge could arise in relationships. If so, a proven resource for working through relationship issues is Nonviolent Communication, a book by Marshall Rosenberg. This Venus-Mars-Saturn-Uranus T-square can also give a big boost to your artistic creativity. Also, on June 16th, Mystic Rectangle, how can your inspired creativity support a higher cause? That's the question asked by that Mystic Rectangle, which starts today on June 16th, peaks on the 21st, and ends on the 26th. It includes Venus, Pallas Athena, Vesta, Neptune, and Pluto. The worthy cause is represented by Vesta. Personal creativity comes from Venus, while Neptune flows down inspired creativity. This creativity can manifest artistically or in any other area of life. The warrior goddess Pallas Athena can help you be appropriately assertive and can also help you with people skills such as diplomacy, negotiation, and mediation. Finally, Pluto stands for wealth. It can help you stand in your power to accomplish all this. In addition to representing personal creativity, Venus could also help you partner with someone to accomplish this. Also, on June 16th, an envelope aspect pattern begins, but it's really 4 aspect patterns in one. It contains a grand trine, 2 kites, and a mystic rectangle. These patterns include Mars, Saturn, Juno, Chiron, and the lunar nodes. They all start today on June 16th, peak on the 30th, and end on July 10th. Let's start with the simplest aspect pattern, a grand trine, which is simply an equilateral triangle. It includes Mars, Chiron, and the South Node. This can give harmonious, flowing support to healing and mentoring. On one hand, this could energize your own shadow work. On the other hand, it could help you support others as a mentor or healer. It could even help you unlock mentoring or healing talents that your soul brought in for this lifetime, but which have not yet fully blossomed. Juno is conjunct the South Node. If we include her in this grand trine, it adds the theme of committed partnership. This could involve your spouse, lover, or someone else close to you who's catalyzing your shadow work. Juno could suggest that you're doing your healing or mentoring work with a coworker, or it can mean that the healing or mentoring work you're involved with is committed and ongoing. Kites. A kite is a grand trine with an extra point halfway between 2 corners. One kite point we can add to this grand trine is the North Node in Gemini. This encourages you to do the healing or mentoring work that's most aligned with your soul purpose. The node's placement in Gemini suggests that learning and communication may be integral to this work. What if we set aside the North Node for a moment and instead focus on the other kite that includes Aquarian Saturn? This can help the person doing the healing and mentoring be more mature and responsible. It can help them manage their time well, be organized, and plan the work and work the plan. They can also more easily act as the wise elder. With Saturn in Aquarius, the healing or mentoring work can be more innovative and more inspired by intuitive hits. The Mars-Saturn opposition in this kite can add great endurance to the work. Then again, why choose only one kite? Why not combine them and enjoy the entire envelope? This lets us embrace all these Saturnian benefits, along with the learning, communication, and life purpose juiciness of the North Node. But wait, if we exclude Chiron, we still have two mystic rectangles to consider. The more basic version includes Leonine Mars, Aquarian Saturn, and the lunar nodes. This invites you to step into the spotlight as a leader or entertainer in a way that aligns with your life purpose. You can do this in a way that's both disciplined and innovative, and you'll definitely have some wisdom to share. What if we include Juno in this mystic rectangle? This suggests that you're doing everything we just described as part of a partnership. The other person could be in the spotlight with you or supporting you behind the scenes. As you can see, there are lots of awesome ways to work with these interlocking aspect patterns. Choose the ones that feel most helpful to you. Saturday, June 19th, money, love, or art. The hard rectangle intensifies them all. This hard rectangle starts on June 19th, peaks on the 23rd, and ends on the 27th. It includes Venus, Pluto, and the lunar nodes. Financially speaking, there's enhanced monetary opportunity, especially if what you're doing aligns with your life purpose. There's also risk, so make sure you understand the potential downside before acting. From a creative perspective, Venus is the artist. Pluto can add tremendous power to your creative activities, and with the North Node in Gemini, writing or creativity that imparts a message receives special support. What about relationship? If you have unresolved conflicts, this hard rectangle could catalyze challenge that stirs them up. I recommend having a reliable shadow work technique ready to deal with any such issues. One technique that works quickly and easily, because it delegates the healing work to your higher self, is the healing invocation in my free invocation masterclass. There's a link to that in the show notes. If you want to get to it just right away, just go to astroshaman.com. On the menu bar at the top, the last word says invocations. Click or tap that. It'll take you right into this information. This aspect pattern can also empower what's good in a relationship. Pluto provides the positive themes of power and wealth. If your relationship is sexual, Pluto can juice up the energy of soul-blended sacred sex. On Sunday, June 20th, Jupiter begins a 4-month retrograde at 11:05 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. That's at 2 degrees, 11 minutes Pisces. Jupiter will turn direct again on October 18th, around 22 degrees Aquarius. Jupiter is our solar system's biggest gas giant and has a correspondingly large number of meanings, including expansion, religion, philosophy, and the meaning of life, higher education, being an advanced student, being a professor, philosopher, guru, or other wisdom giver, foreign lands and influences, long-distance travel, quests and adventures, exuberance and enthusiasm, joy and celebration. You're invited to reflect on any or all of these ideas as Jupiter moves backwards in the sky. Are there some you want to experience more, less? Are there some you're already involved in but would like to adjust? Jupiter retrograde is a great time to contemplate these questions. Also on June 20th, the sun enters Cancer at 11:32 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, marking the summer solstice. For starters, the sun in Cancer opens a month where you can focus more easily on home, family, and security. You can also work with your emotions more easily. The Cancer sun could make it easier to heal painful, repressed emotions using effective shadow work tools. I've already mentioned my healing invocation, which is part of that free invocation masterclass. What about the summer solstice chart, which gives a sense of the overall energy we'll feel until the fall equinox? As it turns out, the aspects and aspect patterns that define this are all interpreted already in the forecast. I've already talked about them. So I'll just reference them and you can go look at them in writing or just remember what I said to get a sense of the challenges and opportunities you can work with for the next 3 months. So the key themes of this chart include that Mars, Saturn, Uranus T-square. We got that mystic rectangle. We've got the hard rectangle. We've got the envelope. All the stuff I've talked about, all the aspect patterns are really the bones of the summer solstice chart. Let's move on now to Monday, June 21st. That mystic rectangle I discussed with Vesta, Pallas Athena, Neptune, and Pluto. It started on the 16th. It peaks today on the 21st. Again, it'll end on the 26th. Enough of that. Let's go to Tuesday, June 22nd. You can start taking action on the themes you contemplated while Mercury was retrograde because Mercury is turning direct. Here's a refresher on those Mercury themes. Mercury was retrograde entirely within Gemini. This was great for reflection on how you learn and communicate, whether you're enjoying enough variety, and how you're interacting with your neighbors and relatives. Aspects. Mercury made several strong aspects as it stationed retrograde. For starters, it was less than 1 degree from Venus. This optimized reflection on the state of your relationships, creativity, and finances. Mercury also squared Neptune. How are things going with your spiritual practices, how you express your inspired creativity, and how consistently you're operating in flow state. Finally, Mercury squared the warrior goddess Pallas Athena. Are you standing up for the causes you believe in? And are you making appropriate use of diplomacy, negotiation, and strategy? Now that Mercury is direct, you can move ahead with any major purchases, contract signings, or other significant new beginnings you had delayed. However, new beginnings are best supported by a waxing moon, so consider getting that new venture underway before the full moon on June 24th at 2:40 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. I'll be interpreting that here in just a moment. But first, on Wednesday, June 23rd, that Venus-Pluto lunar nodes hard rectangle I discussed, which started on the 19th, peaks today on the 23rd, and ends on the 27th, obviously peaking today. Let's go now to Thursday, June 24th, our headline event, Saturn Sextile Chiron. This, the second most important aspect of 2021, offers a lifeline of harmonious healing and wisdom. This Saturn Chiron sextile with Saturn at 13 Aquarius and Chiron at 13 Aries had its first iteration on February 9th. It's also exact today on the 24th and will be exact again on November 26th. And it's in orb, which means close enough for significant impact for more than 15 months, starting back in mid-November of 2020 and all the way through late February of 2022. This flowing aspect counterbalances 2021's most important aspect, a Saturn-Uranus square. The square is much more challenging, especially to structures that have outlived their usefulness. The sextile supports us in understanding the deeper meanings of the radical changes we're experiencing here in 2021. The sextile can also help us heal personally and collectively. Chiron is the wounded healer. This wounding can be emotional, psychological, or physical. In addition to physical pain, this wounding can also catalyze challenge if it triggers unhealed traumas from your childhood or past lives. How much you suffer, or if you suffer at all, depends on your shadow work skills. That's where Chiron can step into its life-affirming roles as the mentor and healer. It encourages you to find effective shadow work tools to heal your old emotional and psychological wounds. Doing this also has a wonderful side effect. Each layer of completed shadow work deepens your spiritual awakening. And you just know I'm going to mention my healing invocation again as part of my free invocation masterclass. Go check that out if you haven't already. Chiron can also encourage you to work with a mentor. This wisdom giver can help you understand what's going on, help heal you, and teach you techniques for self-healing. Or you could be the mentor and or healer yourself, stepping into this role or taking it to the next level. Saturn's most relevant meaning in this context is simply structure. The Saturn-Uranus square, along with other astrological factors in 2021, will destabilize all structures that don't serve highest good, external or internal, physical or conceptual. If you have a say in the matter, you can decide whether a given structure should be transformed or released. The Saturn-Chiron sextile can help you do this wisely. It can help support whatever healing is needed during and afterward. All right, let's go on to the Capricorn full moon on June 24th at 2:40 p.m. That's 2:40 p.m. That's at 3 degrees, 27 minutes Capricorn. Any Capricorn full moon is good for release or adjustment in the areas of maturity, responsibility, and time management. What changes might help you step more fully into the role of the wise elder or more capably plan the work and work the plan? How's your work and home life balance? Aspects. This full moon's most notable aspect is a tight Jupiter sextile. This can smoothly energize luck, joy, and expansion. Consider activities that involve higher learning, foreign cultures, or something adventurous. The moon also has a tight Ceres sesquare. This could bring up some unhealed emotional wounds, so have a good shadow work technique ready. Ceres is the grain goddess, so facing such a challenge skillfully could give you a bountiful harvest. Next, on Friday, June 25th, Neptune turns retrograde at 3:22 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, around 23 degrees Pisces. He'll turn direct again on December 1st, around 20 degrees Pisces. As Neptune shifts into reverse, it's a good time to contemplate how well you're working with his planetary themes. Are you as spiritually awake as you want to be? If not, check out the Embodied Awakening invocation. That's also in my free invocation masterclass. A lot of people find that fast, simple, and effective. Are you receiving plenty of divine inspiration? And are you operating in flow state most of the time? Neptune also has a challenging side. Are you having issues with substance abuse or excessive escapism? Are you drifting aimlessly or martyring yourself in a relationship? Neptune retrograde is optimal for reflection on these themes. Then again, his retrograde will last over 5 months. It's perfectly fine to take action on any of these issues if they need immediate attention or you want to take something wonderful to the next level. And on Wednesday, June 30th, that envelope aspect pattern I discussed that started on June 16th peaks on the 30th and ends on July 10th. Announcements. Everyone is welcome to participate in many Awakening Plus Zoom calls for free. These events support your individual healing and awakening, as well as global spiritual awakening. Some events are for Awakening Plus members only, but we'd love to have you join our supportive online community. Dip your toe in the water with our 30 days for $1 risk-free trial membership. Here's info on our remaining June events, all at 8 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. A really juicy one coming up this Wednesday, June 16th. Members only shamanic breath work. For the first time, we'll do a 1-hour music mix. You can breathe through to deeper healing and awakening with shamanic breath work. Supported by focused breathing and powerful music, you can experience a natural altered state and spontaneous shamanic journeying. This process can release old wounds, challenging emotions, and dysfunctional patterns, resulting in greater health and wholeness. You might also open to new levels of spiritual awakening. I am a certified shamanic breathwork facilitator. I'll introduce you to the process, hold space remotely during the music, and then help you integrate afterward. This should last about 2 hours. Then we have a free public event on Wednesday, June 23rd, Attuning to Your Akashic Records with guest presenter Deborah Hellman. In the first part of this event, Deborah will discuss what are the Akashic Records, what happens in an Akashic Record session, and how are the Akashic Records accessed. Then Deborah will lead you in a guided meditation that raises your vibrational frequency and aligns you with spirit. This meditation awakens the codes that attune you to your personal Akashic records and lets you experience your Akashic field. By accessing this connection to spirit, you gain clarity about how to receive divine messages and can integrate this wisdom into your daily life. Deborah Hellman is a spiritual guide and facilitator for over 30 years. She's helped thousands of people embody higher frequency and experience more of their multidimensional self. As a guide, she opens the door for you to reach deeper levels of your sacred self and find your joy. This is her soul's purpose. Deborah teaches people how to open their Akashic records and the records of others. This lets them break free from patterns that no longer serve them and experience more spirit energy. You can learn more about Deborah's classes and workshops and journeys and one-on-one sessions at renewinspireempower.com. And then we have one more event on Wednesday, June 30th, a members-only event, Individual Healings That Also Bless the Senders. You can support the individual healing of the people on this call and maybe even get one of your own. The magic of this process is in the combined healing intentions of everyone who participates. So don't be surprised if you receive bounce back healing as you hold space for someone else. This one should last about 90 minutes. And then every Monday, a free public event called New Earth Support Team. In this popular weekly event, we first create our sacred container and invoke embodied awakening. Then we let our divine allies know that we've come to serve the great global awakening. They take it from there. The divine likes to give as good as it gets. Our spiritual service is routinely rewarded with personal healing, spiritual upgrades, and profound bliss. Awakening Plus features at least 9 live streaming events each month. Many live events are open to everyone for free. Members, however, receive these exclusive benefits. Of those 9 live Zoom calls, about half are members only. There's an archive of over 325 live transforming events, plus a best of guide, enlightening course content, including the complete 16-part invocation masterclass. We have a monthly community connection call. You can choose an accountability partner. We got a private forum. It's a pretty good setup, guys. Learn more or start your 30 days for $1 risk-free trial membership at awakeningplus.com. Thanks for being here. Once again, I'm Benjamin Bernstein with astroshaman.com. I can serve you with astrology readings, shamanic healing, and one-of-a-kind life coaching. All my one-on-one services are equally effective in person or long distance. I also offer an unbeatable price on SolarFire, the #1 astrology software for Windows. And as I mentioned, I run the Awakening Plus online membership for spiritual support. You can learn all about this and more at astroshaman.com. To see the show notes, just go to astroshaman.com/584. Please reach out if you have any questions. My email is benjamin@astroshaman.com, and my number for voice and text, 828-338-9852. I would love to connect with you. We're wrapping up. Please leave me a 5-star rating, review, or comment wherever you're getting this episode so others who also love astrology and spirituality can find it. Thanks again for spending this time with me. I wish you infinite blessings as the stars light your way.